I'm Riza, and today we're going to talk about D&D. Specifically, my new D&D character, Lieta. I haven't given her a last name, but my last D&D character didn't have a last name either. So, my D&D group is going to have our last session in a few weeks, and this means I'm going to need a new character. And my last character was a paladin that had bread as his religion, and it was very funny to play, because I would constantly try and convert people. The funniest story I have about that is my character walked into a bar, and there was a huge bar fight, and I rolled a nat 20 on convincing all of them to join my religion. And they all joined my religion, and it was hilarious. Anyway, I wanted to try doing a more serious character now, so a little more different than a wacky guy that's trying to convert everyone into a weird bread cult. So, yeah. Now, one thing is that I was going to have this video scripted, or at least the backstory part, except I forgot to save when I wrote the backstory, which is annoying, and I could rewrite it and not try and do her whole backstory from memory, but we're going to do the whole backstory from memory. That's what we're doing today. So, this is an unscripted video, because I forgot to save. So, let's look at my character sheet for my character. So, my previous character was a paladin, so I wanted to do something different. So, I'm doing a sorcerer. So, her name is Lieta. Her name is Lieta. She's a tiefling. She's a sorcerer. I put her as a lawful neutral, because I imagine her as someone who sticks to the rules, but if the rules are bad, I feel like she would still stick to the rules, depending on what rules she decides to follow. As her personality, I put that she judges people by their actions, not their words, mainly because she has grown up very distrusting of people, because she's found that people that were close to her weren't all that great. And I put that she likes fairness, and I put that she likes fairness because she believes everyone should get what they deserve, and she wants to follow the law and all that. For bonds, I put I protect those who cannot protect themselves, simply because even though Lieta is very distrusting of people, when she is trustful of people, those bonds really stay, and I'm hoping that with my other party characters that she can create some awesome bonds with them. Now, the last one, her flaw, is the people that knew me. This actually really got me thinking about the backstory, actually, because I decided to tie her whole dramatic backstory thing to the place of her origin, so that's going to be fun. She has a crossbow, and she has 2 daggers. I kind of want to use more magic, since my previous character, I barely used any of his spells, so I want to try and use more of her magic, but she does have a few weapons. And, yeah, there's the rest of the stuff in the sheet, but, yeah. I was gonna show my full sheet, spells and all that, but, since my backstory one got all messed up, we're just gonna skip that. So, on to her origin. So, I created a name for her town, which is going to be Blencathra. Blencathra is Lieta's home. This small, isolated community took in Lieta's parents, who were outcasted and left with nothing. The town, I imagine, is very small and rural. Everyone knows everyone. If anything sus happens in the town, people know about it. So basically what happens is Lieta's parents started out as nobodies. They were refugees that came into their town, and they slowly, throughout their lives, they slowly built themselves up into a more respectable area. However, the fact is that they soon became greedy. With this greed, they started abusing and taking advantage of the residents. And this means that many people were kind of started creating a distrust towards them and distastefulness. Now, Lieta is on the side of the town because she grew up in the town and she literally knows nothing else about the world. She grew up there. She has friends. She knows everyone in the entire town. She respects them. She loves them. And she trusts them with her life. However, her parents are jeopardizing this relationship and bond that she carries with this town and this townfolk. So then what happens is Lieta's parents become a huge target for a few of the main players in the town. And what happens is these people want Lieta's parents gone. So what happens is they hire an assassin who we only know by the initial M, because I was too lazy to think of a name. And I'm gonna let the DM pick that, so I'm probably gonna send this video to my DMs. Have fun picking an M name for this guy. So anyway, even though this M character is an assassin, he doesn't like to get his hands dirty, because he never wants to be caught for his crimes, which is murder. So he tries to always cover up his crimes and lose the blame for everything. So he confronts Lieta. So what happens is he gives her sorcerer powers, and I believe when I wrote it, I put imbued or make it I don't know, fancy, but anyway, he gives her some sorcerer powers, and he teaches her, and he slowly coerces her into believing that murdering her parents is the best thing for her and for the town. He reminds her of all the horrible things her parents have done, how they are ruining the bond between her and the people she cares about, and how it is best for her to get rid of them so that she can live in the town that is a part of her. Another thing is he brings up how her parents are breaking the law and how she should be distrusting of her parents and all this stuff. So then he slowly coerces her to murder her parents with these powers that she was given. I've given her a lot of fire spells, so in my mind I envision that she sets fire to her home and makes sure her parents don't escape. And with M having the knowledge of all this, he makes sure to rob the house before she burns it down. And Lieta finds out about this, because when she goes to try and look for some of the riches her parents had, and some of the things she could possibly use to sustain herself after this, being a child, I imagine her to be in her late teens by this point. Being a child with no money, no one to take care of her, and find that all of it's gone. This M person has taken it and gone off. And with this, she immediately feels so betrayed by this M character. And this goes into her trust issues with not being able to trust people she meets automatically. And another thing is this leads into her trust issues with not being able to trust, or even to not being able to trust anyone automatically. However, she does have a huge trust for Blencathra and the citizens. But when the citizens hear of this disaster, even though they didn't like the bullies that were the parents of Lieta, the fact that Lieta killed her own parents and didn't seem that remorseful. She presented herself to the villagers as their hero, wanting to be welcomed and accepted by them, to be someone that they could trust for protection, and she wanted so badly to be taken care of by them. She wanted so badly to be welcomed by them again. She wanted that trust to be immediately rebuilt by telling them that she was on their side. However, they weren't on hers. So the story ends with people still shunning her, still not wanting to go near her, losing all trust, and being very confused by the whole entire events. And Lieta leaves. And she hopes that one day she can rekindle that trust between them, and she believes that what she has to do is to blame the entire fiasco on this M character, and hopefully convince them that she is a good person and worthy of being their hero, their friend, and a proud citizen of Blencathra. She blames this M character for how things turned out, and she wants to get revenge on him. She also has a desperate hope and want to return back to Blencathra. Her greatest hope is to be able to stand in Blencathra again, and be there with the people that she so loves. So, the big bond that Lieta has is for this Blencathra place, and any citizens from there. So I imagine for the DMs watching in this story, if anyone from Blencathra ever appears in the story, then she's automatically going to be trusting of them, and she's automatically going to want to be their friend and to be right there with them. Now, another thing is her character design. As of when she leaves Blencathra, she commonly wears the colors associated with Blencathra, which is blue and yellow. Now, she also wears red, which were the colors of the clothes that her parents often gave her. I wanted to do this to have like a sort of thing where she still somewhat associates with her parents, but she also wants to be proud of her origin, Blencathra. I imagine like a younger version of her wears almost all red, because that's the colors that her parents give her, and then as she gets older, she incorporates more blue and yellow into her outfit to symbolize getting more closer to the place that she actually cares about. So I don't know what's going to happen with this M character. I don't know how Blencathra is going to react, if Lieta will ever come back to Blencathra, because we haven't started our campaign yet. And I don't know what other party members will influence Lieta to change her in some way, or maybe become more chesting. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I also haven't played a more serious character before, so that's also going to be interesting. Also, I can't wait to use the, like, wild spell thing, wild magic surge, that spell, because that's gonna be funny. I've heard that there's some funny things that come out of that. So yeah, I can't wait to see what happens to Lieta, and I'll tell you all about what happens to her whenever our campaign ends, I guess. I didn't expect making D&D videos on YouTube, but I thought this was kind of interesting, and an interesting speed paint. I'm going to do a video on Loaf. I'm not sure if I said his name before. Loaf, I'm still playing him right now, but he's my previous D&D character, and I love him, and I will make a video drawing him, and giving his whole story, because his story will be done soon. And I will also share the first kind of video animation I did with our D&D group, so that'll be fun. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, me rambling on about my D&D character. I'm not sure if you want to see more D&D content, but I thought this was a fun video. Thank you!